What's up guys, my name is Tom, welcome back to another video, and here to another episode of my F1 2020 My Team Career Mode. Today is time for the 21st episode and the penultimate one of the first season, and it's time for the Brazilian Grand Prix, one of my favorite tracks on the calendar, but at the same time I struggle a little bit, but we'll see what we can do at Interlagos. But before jumping into the track, I'm going to buy some perks in order to give me a little bit of driver acclaim. At the moment I'm trying to save as much money and resource points to prepare the best I can for season 2. I want to be in the best shape as possible for the next season. So I'm already thinking ahead, and we'll see if you're going to score some good points between having some good results in the last few episodes. But Brazil is a very strong track for the AI. But before jumping, we are on the garage and we have very juicy news for the next season. We received an email from Carl and he said that it was announced this morning that we'll have 2 teams coming to the sport next season. Aston Martin and Alpine are going to be the new challengers, replacing Racing Point and Renault respectively. So this is going to mean that we're going to have some new liveries for season 2. So it's already an announcement, and it's definitely going to make things really juicy indeed when it comes to season 2. I already had this plan to get these fantasy scenarios, I can say, which in a way is going to be true in the real life 2021 season, but is in a way to keep things fresh and new and in every single season. So I hope you guys enjoy this idea. Be prepared for season 2, already giving a little bit of a tease, I can say, but we're going to focus in these last 2 races at Brazil and Abu Dhabi. In terms of performance chat, not many people are improving their cars because they're already thinking season 2. Remember that we're going to have a regulation change that is going to affect the aero and the chassis, and for the race we're going to have intermediate conditions, light rain conditions, and it's going to stick for the entirety of the race. However, in qualifying is going to be dry weather, so we're going to use the slicks, but it's not going to be probably an option during Sunday. So here we are on practice 1. Thankfully we have the same conditions that we're going to have during the race, and this is going to allow me to prepare a little bit, knowing getting a feel of the car in these intermediate conditions where the grip is. And I'm already doing the practice programs, not every single one of them, but the ones that I think that are very important to the race, which are the tire management and the race pace. The other ones I'm going to do on the dry, but this is still on the first practice. You're going to do a dry run, and we made a spin because I wasn't prepared and I was 100% throttle, and ho, that was very close to the Ferrari of Sebastian Vettel, I believe, and yeah, that was a bit embarrassing. I was distracted, just showing you how close it was to get a huge shunt with the Ferrari of my man Sebastian Vettel, and you can see that that was very close. Not as close as you can see in the onboard. I think it definitely looks more closer from my POV, and this is the POV of George Russell, I believe. But giving a last push on the closing stages of practice, and I want to prepare as well for the second practice, and we need to get a feel as well in the dry conditions, because we're going to have a dry qualifying, and qualifying is always important, not as important as the other places. Here Brazil, overtaking can be pretty easy, especially on the start-finish straight. It has plenty of straights, especially the start and finish straights. It has a little kink to the left, but definitely it provides a lot of good racing. And I rather have, you know, just a personal opinion, I rather have the season finale at Brazil than on Abu Dhabi. We'll see if we're going to exclude Abu Dhabi from the season finale in the next season. But here we are on qualifying, and it's time to see where we're going to qualify. This is going to be the last dry conditions that we're going to have in this weekend, and at the moment the first lap has been kinda okay, some time left on the tail, but in overall it's been a pretty decent lap as Hamilton goes fastest in this session, and we'll see where this lap is going to put us for the time being. Open the DRS and make sure to run the less meters as you can. I could have just stick to the left, you know, to do less meters, but I don't know why I did. I just stick to the right, you know. But at the moment it's a 1.8.4 and is just P17, but I would say it is P18 because I don't know why Valtteri Bottas didn't set a lap on the first run, where we were all doing the first run, so that was a little bit weird, and we are technically in P18 because Bottas is going to overtake us pretty easily. So here we go for our second and the last lap of the session. At the moment we are in P17, we are in the relegation zone, and we need to get P16 in order to get through the next phase of qualifying. So we gained some time through the first sector, really giving it all. The first sector was already okay. I think we went a little bit deep on the Senna S, and now through the long right-hander, which is very easy to not carry the exact speed. We locked up a little bit onto the next right hand, and now here we managed to carry a little, maybe too much speed, because we lost a little bit the back end. Here is where we gained a lot of time against the eye. It is in the last sector because I'm carrying a mid-wing setup. Because I want a higher downforce setup than normal, because we're going to be in rainy conditions. We lost the back end through the final proper corner, and we just 90 seconds to go on this session. We're not probably going to qualify, so I'm trying to get onto the track as quickly as I can in order to get a second chance. But now we have an AlphaTauri, and they're going to lose the back end. Oh, that was very close to hit the back, the side of the AlphaTauri, and that's qualifying done and dusted for us. That was very close as well. To get a huge chance with the Alfa Romeo, and that was a spectacular move. I lost the back end because I moved the wheel too aggressive, because I got scared of the AlphaTauri that looks so close from the POV of I won't say that it's Gasly, I'm not entirely sure, but I tend to aggressively to the right because I got scared of the AlphaTauri, and unfortunately yeah, that is going to be our starting position, 20th, and our tires were toasted at the back, so I think there was no way that I was going to improve my previous best, because my tires were absolutely destroyed. I did too many burnouts, and I was a bit desperate, so it was just everything in the heat of the moment, but we're not going to give up. It's been a very disappointing qualifying, I'm not gonna lie. I think we had the pace to get through to the second phase of qualifying, and it's the first time that Nick de Vries beat us, so I don't know if that's kind of embarrassing, because at the moment Nick is not been performing in the best way, but comparing to his previous results, I think P17 is very positive to him. So now it's going to be a race with different conditions, intermediate conditions, so without further ado, it's time for the Brazilian Grand Prix.
Welcome along then to the place where heroes and history are made. It's where the 2008 title was decided in the final corner. And it's the place, a year later, that Jenson Button stormed through from 14th on the grid to claim his one and only Drivers' Championship. It's Interlagos, and it's time for the Brazilian Grand Prix. Interlagos, always a very special race here in Brazil. It's a 2.7-mile circuit with 9 lefts and 6 rights for a total of 15 corners. But it's a wet one today, so grip and visibility will be at a premium, and the drivers will need to be careful coming up the hill in Sector 3, the scene of many an accident over the years. And with me, as usual, is Anthony Davidson. Let's talk about Thomas. That was a solid result in their last race. Can they keep that momentum going this weekend?
There are never any guarantees in this business, but certainly the performance last time out would have boosted their confidence coming into this one.
Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting race. An immense lap from Lewis Hamilton yesterday puts him on pole position, edging out Max Verstappen, who'll start from P2. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Leclerc, Vettel, Sergio Perez, and Bottas, Gasly, Stroll, Norris, and Daniel Kvyat, Ricciardo, Ocon, Kimi Raikkonen, and Grosjean, De Vries, Albon, Kevin Magnussen, and Carlos Sainz. They'll be starting further back after an earlier grid penalty. Giovinazzi, Thomas, Latifi, and George Russell ends our grid lineup. That's it then, it's time to go racing as we head to trackside for today's race.
Okay, if we want to achieve a points finish like last race, you're going to need to push for positions early on. Good luck.
Thanks, Jeffrey. We'll see if we can do that. It's going to be way harder in these very tricky intermediate conditions. Welcome to the Brazilian Grand Prix, typical Brazilian showers at Interlagos. So we're going to maybe have a bang of a race, maybe a more boring race. We'll see over the course of these next few laps. We have a Red Bull on the front one alongside Lewis Hamilton. 5 red lights for the Brazilian Grand Prix, and it slides out, and away we go. Let's see if we can get a good start. Amazing start against the McLaren of Carlos Sainz, and the Red Bull way down the order of Alexander Albon, and we're going to dive down inside of our teammate Nick de Vries, which I believe he had a very good start. He's alongside us as we go through the center rest, trying to go run outside. We've been pushed a little bit and we received the warning, so apparently we made contact with our teammate, and now run outside goes Antonio Giovinazzi on the Alfa Romeo. So it's been a more or less start a very chaotic start, I'm not gonna lie. We made contact with that teammate, but I believe Giovinazzi was on the inside of, when it comes to the three of us, because I think me, De Vries and Gio were alongside each other in the first corner, and I wasn't aware of that, and I thought I was just alongside De Vries, and that probably that was the reason of the contact. But we're going to press on. Giovinazzi going a little bit slow. That is going to allow us go around the outside. It's going to be a brilliant move if we can manage to pull that off, and yes we can, and we have a lot of grip against the Alfa Romeo, so it's been a very an okay start. We gained already some positions and try to take a look around the outside of Raikkonen, very close to his rear wheel and very close to lose a bit of front wing as he's going side by side with the Haas of Kevin Magnussen, and Magnussen has a pull run because he was on the outside line. Maybe it's the part of the track where he has more water in the on sector 3, but we made the move on the Haas, and we're already in P15. So once again doing excellent starts in this game, just like Giovinazzi in the rear left. But now we're getting some nice slipstream of Raikkonen, twitching the wheel to a little bit very shaky, because I was losing a little bit of grip, but I managed to save that. I need to be a little bit more smoother, but we managed to go around the outside, going a little bit deep. Raikkonen maybe is going to try to take a look around the outside as well, but no, we managed to pull that off and get a good traction. And this man Lewis Hamilton can be world champion today because he has a very comfortable gap to Valtteri Bottas, because Bottas had a huge championship blowout in the last race at Mexico. He was leading, he did nothing wrong, and he had an engine failure. But now we're going to watch the replay and see what happened. So it was an amazing start, a very good initial getaway, and then oh yes, it was what I thought. It was Giovinazzi that was on the inside. I wasn't aware of him, and I thought that De Vries was the only one that was alongside me. I wasn't expecting Giovinazzi to have such a good start, and De Vries had no chance to go. So we're going to see his POV. He had actually a decent start, I'm not gonna lie. So De Vries performing well in these early stages of the Grand Prix, and yeah, De Vries had nowhere to go. I wasn't aware of that. I can say that is a racing incident, but we're going to press on, setting personal best at the end of lap 3, starting lap 4, and gaining on Roman Grosjean. So it seems that in this stint we are absolutely flying. We are so much faster than the Haas, but it's going to be really tricky to make a move unless we are on a start-finish straight in these intermediate conditions. It's going to be intermediate conditions for the entirety of this Grand Prix, but getting some slipstream, overtake mode, bridge mix. We are kind of low on fuel at this stage of the race, so I must have a look at that. But getting some slipstream, and we're going to try once again try to make a move on the center as around the outside of the Haas. Much easier. That was very easy. I didn't say much easier, so it's good to know that my English is perfect at the moment in this commentary. But we are up into P14, and it's been a very good afternoon for the time being, because as things stand, Bottas would lose the championship and Hamilton would get his 7th world title, and Bottas has to stick in 2nd place in the championship standings. Vettel has a chance as well to fight for the championship, but I think these guys need to finish ahead of Hamilton, because Hamilton, after the Mexico Grand Prix, after that engine failure from Bottas, and his race that converted Hamilton's to Hamilton 2nd place to a race win, I believe. That gave a very comfortable position in the championship. So Bottas really needs to do something, because at the moment he's stuck behind both Ferraris. And we actually set a purple lap time. It wasn't a purple, but we set a purple 3rd sector on the previous lap, and we're trying to catch this train that I believe at the moment is being led by one of the Racing Points, and we're getting closer and closer to the back of Esteban Ocon, still setting personal best. So I don't know, maybe I'm starting to feel more confident in these raining conditions. Maybe the track is improving, maybe maybe the rain is going to stop and we're going to use, you know, some slicks. But we're gaining on the Esteban Ocon, but he's still a little bit far, and we have to stick behind the Frenchman. But as you can see clearly that it's starting to form a train led by the Racing Point. One of the McLarens is starting to pull away. I think it is both McLarens, but we'll see what he can do. I'm trying to get closer and closer to Ocon, but it's very hard to do the move at the moment for the time being on the start-finish straight, because he's getting some slipstream. That Renault is pretty decent. I think it's definitely much better than our Renault engine. So I'm not gonna lie, I'm finding a hard time to despite this Renault, because definitely we are much faster, and we'll see if we can do something. A massive dive from down the inside of the Renault of Ocon. That was a brilliant move. That was late on the brakes, a la Daniel Ricciardo, and that's us into P12. What a move that we made on the Renault of Esteban Ocon. Just look at that. You can see a wild Tom Motorsport car just moving very aggressively to the left. That could end up in tears. That could have ripped my front wing off, and we just seeing the nose cam, the replay, and that was freaking close. That was a bit stupid for me, I'm not gonna lie. That could be the end of my race, but I was already a little bit desperate. I was losing too much time with this guy. I was definitely much faster, I knew that, and I said, okay, let's try to dispatch him, he's now or never. And that absolutely paid off, but that was so close. That was just a few millimeters of my race end up in tears, you know, but I made the move work. We're going to press on, and definitely we are much faster than Daniel Kvyat in the AlphaTauri, so these guys are not, you know, getting closer enough to make the moves, but it seems that I'm the only one able to do so at the moment in this early stage of the race, almost mid-stage of the race, but gaining and gaining on Daniel Kvyat. Is going defensive. I see a room, I see a gap around the outside, and we're going to take that around the outside through the CNRS. Now it's going to switch on the inside. Kvyat gets a good traction around the outside, so it's a brilliant defending by the Russian on the AlphaTauri, and we have to stick behind, but now we're going to have some nice slipstream of Kvyat. He doesn't want to give the outside line. He learned from his mistake from the first corner, but is going to allow, but that is not going to stop us to send one down the inside, and that is once again another move to our list on this Brazilian Grand Prix. So we are with a pretty good pace at the moment in this first stint, but we're getting closer and closer, and Ricardo pulled into the pits and decided to pit a lap early, because the undercut on wet conditions can really pay off, because when your tires are worn in dry conditions it's bad, but I think at least for me it's even worse when it is in wet conditions. So we're going to pull onto the pits, and we're going to dress a brand new set of intermediate tires. The tire wear was 56%, so it was okay. It was kind of high because I've been pushing a lot in this first stint in order to make the moves. We made that massive dive bomb. Actually, that dive bomb on Esteban Ocon, you can rewind the video. I didn't make any sort of lockups. Speaking of lockups, that was complete opposite. It was a little bit of oversteer, as we're getting a lot of understeer through this pit exit, because these tires are not in the optimal temperature at the moment. But you can see the overtake on Ocon. I didn't make any sort of lockups, and that was pretty impressive to see. And not doing lockups with the dive bomb like I did on the Renault in these conditions, as we set the fastest lap of the Grand Prix, and Ricardo is not seeing that he's not responding at the moment, and we're catching this train, and in this train it is Alexander Albon, which is finding a hard time in this race. He's definitely outside of the points. He has to make his stop, remember. So yeah, Alexander Albon at the moment in this race is even worse than the Alexander Albon in the real life. I don't want to be really harsh on him, but he's really finding a hard time in the Red Bull, in the game and in the real life. So yeah, definitely he's not Albon's day at the moment, and definitely we're going to be caught on this train, and I believe Lance Stroll ahead. Stay out for a few more laps, and maybe he can do the overcut, or the overcut, I should say. If he gets stuck too much time, you know, behind this train. So we need to make this move. Ricardo doesn't seem to get a chance on these guys, and maybe I have to make the move on Ricardo in order to dispatch these guys. And look how close we are on the gearbox of the Renault, and maybe that's going to allow us to get a chance up the inside on the last corner. Ricardo moved a little bit on the braking. We made contact, and Ricardo now has a poor traction around the outside, and I managed to overtake him, giving a little bit of a harsh squeeze because I was very frustrated, but definitely, and now we have front wing damage. Thanks, Ricardo. We'll see if that doesn't affect us that much for the rest of this race, but definitely Ricardo moved on the braking, and I know that is a little bit aggressive in this game, and I really like, but that was a little bit unacceptable, and Ricardo, yeah, he's not going to be one of my options in my team in Season 2 for me, because yeah, he clearly moved a little bit on the braking. I wasn't expecting, I don't know if he wanted to go defensive, you know, because I was very close. Maybe he misjudged the distance that I was, I don't know, but we made contact. We have a light damage, lime green damage, and hopefully now we're going to be not on full potential for the rest of this race, but hopefully that is not going to affect us that much. But now the guys have made their stops, and we're going to make a massive undercut on Lando Norris and Lance Stroll, and that is going to put us in P8, and everyone already made their stops. We can score points in this race, in a Grand Prix where I thought that we would find a hard time, because this is a very good track for the AI, but it seems that we are flying in these wet conditions, and now this is the situation right now. We are 3.5 seconds behind Pierre Gasly. I don't know if I can catch him. I need to pull away of Norris. I'm pushing as hard as I can because he's still in the danger zone. He's within 1 second. I know that we don't have DRS at the moment, but I need to get a safe gap because I'm not very good on tire wear, and in the closing stages of the race I might struggle a little bit, and Norris may have a chance in the closing stages, but we'll see what we can do. Starting to catch a little bit Pierre Gasly. We already dropped 1 second. We are on lap 27. Hamilton is out of the race. This is so crucial for the championship, as my voice is cracking a little bit. Hamilton leading the race is out of the Brazilian Grand Prix. This is a copycat or Bottas on the last race. Bottas was leading the Mexican Grand Prix and he did nothing wrong. It's going to happen the same to Hamilton, and oh, this is so bad for Hamilton because now he's going to be so close in the championship. And oh, are you kidding me? Bottas is going to be so close to Hamilton. I don't know if he's going to be in the lead, in the championship lead, but he's going to be not that far from that. And Verstappen now leads the Grand Prix, gets the lead of the Grand Prix, and this is so unfortunate for Hamilton. He's been dominating this Grand Prix, and he did nothing wrong. But it shows once again, like in the last episode, that this sport can be really harsh. And this is going to be a mega finale at the Abu Dhabi because Hamilton, Bottas, and Vettel probably are going to be so close that any one of these three can win by a small margin. So we are up into an absolute banger in the next episode at the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. But now we're going to come back onto our race, and we're starting to get closer and closer to Pierre Gasly, but I'm starting to have some trouble with the tires. As you can see in the MFD, there's a little red bar, and that is for the tire section, and we're going to see if we can save the tires. But despite that, we're getting closer and closer to Pierre Gasly, so I need to make this move. Is now or never. We have 3 laps to go at the moment, and you can see that Gasly is struggling a little bit on the first sector, and I told you that this is a section of the track where we've been strong because I'm carrying mid-high downforce setup. Generally the low downforce setup is the way to go around here, but I decided to compromise a little bit the setup because of these raining conditions. Maybe that was the reason during this race that I've been struggling a little bit to make the moves on the start-finish straight, but gaining on Gasly is a little bit far up the road, but that is not going to stop us to make a massive dive bomb up the inside like we did on Ocon. So we stopped the car in time to not make contact with Gasly, and that is a superb move on the AlphaTauri, and that's us into P6. So we've been working, we've been studying Gasly, we've been pushing a lot over the course of this second stint, and that absolutely paid off. We made the very clean overtake of a spectacular dive bomb. We were so confident on the brakes, especially on the first corner against the AI, and we took the chance, and I said, okay, there's 2 laps to go, is now or never. Maybe I could take on the last lap, but I was a little bit impatient. I've been working in this move, I've been preparing this move since the beginning of the second stint, and Max Verstappen wins his first and Red Bull's first Grand Prix of the season, and we have a puncture now. We have a puncture on the start-finish straight, just a few meters to go, and Gasly is going to overtake us. This is heartbreak. We're going to cross the line in P7. Oh, that is so unfortunate from us. We've been working and working over the course of this Grand Prix, and so much in the second stint, and it's going to be P7. The P6 has been snatched away. We have the driver of the day from Consolation, but that was heartbreak. I pushed so hard that you know, the tire gave up the rear right, and I had to slow down because if I still was going full throttle, I will lose the car. Maybe I will lose the tire hitting the wall. I was actually very close to hit the wall, and you could see the tire deflating massively. So that was it wasn't a slow puncture, it was a very quick puncture, and I had to slow down. I have to think in the championship. And I was very tempted to go full throttle, but then I thought, okay, I've been working this race, it would be a shame to not score points, have a DNF, and I decided, okay, I'm going to let go Gasly. It's just 2 points, and I'm gutted.
We've witnessed some great battles around the historic curves of Interlagos today, and they've taken a fantastic win. What do you think it was, Ants, that gave them the edge over the competition today?
It's a heroic effort for any driver to race in conditions like these, and seeing them fight their way to the front was very special indeed. They were able to find all the grip, all the good lines, and had the confidence to get on the power to top it all off. That's what pushed them into first place here today.
Here come today's winners. The team at Red Bull have done a phenomenal job recently. It's clear to see that they've put in the work, and they should be proud of the victory they secured here.
Oh man, I'm so I'm destroyed. I'm not gonna lie. I'm destroyed inside because I did a cracking race. It's still a very good result, P7, but I wanted P6. I worked so hard during this race to get 8 points, but I'm still happy. But you know, I wanted more. I always want more, and this is a very good ambition to get more and more. But I pushed too hard on the tires, and I think that's understandable. But yeah, guys, that has been the Brazilian Grand Prix P7 Championship standings. Hamilton leading the standings by just one single point over Vettel, and Bottas behind by just 9 points. This race, the next race, Abu Dhabi, is going to be an absolute cracker. And we stand in P8. I think we're not going to get P7. It's very hard, but in the constructor standings, we are 2 points over Renault. If we score, if we didn't get that puncture, we've been level on points with Renault, so we might get P7 at the end of the season. So we have a lot of work to do at Abu Dhabi. It's going to be really hard because it's a very good track for the AI like Brazil, but you never know what can happen. But oh boy, it's going to be a hell of a finale in the next episode. These three battling for the championship. I hope that Vettel wins, is my man. And we have to defend as well a position over the two McLaren boys, which are not very far. But this is a situation. We have a lot of work to do. I'm going to take the chance to overtake Renault. Oh man, this is incredible, you know. 21 races, and look how close the championship standings in the constructors and in the drivers standings. Oh man, I love career mode. It can offer so much, such a good season finales, and season 1 of my F1 2020 My Team career mode is not going to be an exception. So guys, stick for the finale at Abu Dhabi. It's going to be an absolute cracker. I can't wait to record the next race. And yeah, that is going to be everything for me. Make sure to leave the like and subscribe to F to see plenty more Formula 1 content. Really motivates me to make more. And I'll see you guys for brand new video next time. But for now, it's goodbye.